All right, everyone. We've heard a lot about egg prices over the last few months, which is hilarious. They only started talking about it when Donald Trump took office. Before he took office, egg prices were nominal. Everything's perfectly fine. And all of a sudden, it was Trump's fault that egg prices continued to rise into his first month. Now the egg prices are down sharply, by 11%, actually. They're lower than when he took office. All of a sudden, I noticed that liberal commentators are not really talking about the egg prices. This is the case with the wider economy. If inflation continues through Trump's first quarter, he will be blamed for the inflation, which is interesting because Biden was never seriously blamed by any of these same commentators for why inflation. Yeah, when you spend several $trillion on an infrastructure bill that kind of sort of pans out, but not really, it might overheat the economy. They're saying it might contribute to inflation. It's a total mystery how this happens. Most people don't really know a lot about economics, and that's a big problem. Because if they knew about economics, they would understand, number one, there's a lag period into the subsequent administration. Number two, the administration itself, centrally in the executive sense, is not always responsible for the inflation. In Biden's case, he was. He was the one that was pushing the infrastructure bill and the basically the too big to fail bill, including elements of the Green New Steel and things like that. And so multiple trillions of dollars were pumped into the economy. That causes inflation. What happens is you have to print more money to actually cover the cost, and then it devalues the currency. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is blamed for literally every economic problem that was left over from the last regime, even though he's only been in there for little over a month. The fact is that this will not be widely reported on. Oh, egg prices fell by 11% over the last week. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. That's not meaningful in any way. The cheapest source of protein that even vegetarians generally eat, we don't need to talk about that. No, it's literally nothing. But it is something. What's happened is that Trump's economic policies have eased the inflationary pressure of the prior administration. He's doing this faster than I expected him to be able to do it. Actually, he's doing a very good job so far on the economy and diplomacy and the border and things like that. You've got Marines at the U.S. border setting up a wire. There's a reason for that. We need to expedite that process, by the way, considerably. And just trust them. If you're going to trust any force in the world, trust the U.S. Marines. I'd rather have a squad of them than any other force in the world to defend me if there was a zombie apocalypse. We'll put it that way. So the egg prices are plummeting. The average price of eggs is down by 11%. Week over week, by the way. It'll probably keep falling further. It probably won't achieve its old equilibrium, but we can definitely lower the price. The fact that we're having a national conversation about the price of eggs is surreal to me. It makes absolutely no sense. This one particular commodity, I mean, I know it's an important one. Everyone likes, omelets and scrambled eggs and stuff like that. That's perfectly fine. The fact that we're literally having a national conversation over what the pricing should be is a little bit on the odd side now, isn't it? But that's the conversation that we're having. And people are blaming Trump. It's like the Democrats, they kill off 100 million chickens, which literally happened under Biden because of the bird flu bullshit, and, impose all sorts of regulations and go after small farmers and stuff like that. They wonder why the eggs are so pricey. All of a sudden, price of eggs has inflated considerably. Interesting. Now, if the Krasensteins and retards like them are going to blame Trump for the price of eggs being high, are they going to give him credit for the fact that the price of eggs have come down? Don't answer that question. It's rhetorical in nature. Of course they're not. They're not going to talk about it at all. All of a sudden, egg prices will be off the radar of the legacy media because they don't want to give any credit where credit is due for deregulatory policies and the restoration of the stock, of course, of chickens. They don't want to give any credit where credit's due because Orange Man bad. It's literally nothing more than that. It's complete petulance at some point. It's completely petulant. The fact is that Donald Trump's economic policies did not drive up the price of eggs. The price of eggs was driven up in part because Joe Biden decided stupidly to mass cull 100 million chickens. And they didn't even enter the food chain, by the way. They were just, I guess, incinerated or something like that, probably a great taxpayer expense, because they might be sick. Oh my God, people might get sick from eating the chicken. Well, if you cook it properly, probably not. Just saying. I can cook a decent chicken myself. Joe Biden, he can't even choose what he eats tonight. He's not even capable of choosing the color of his socks. And he's the one that these people, these morons, believed was capable of leading a major world economy. No, I don't think so. I think that was a bad idea. I think that the truth speaks for itself, actually. The fact is that Donald Trump has not been in office very long. His general deregulatory policies and the restoration of the flock, so to speak, with regards to egg production, is causing the price to fall. It'll probably attain some equilibrium. And Trump will not be entirely responsible for this, but the deregulatory policies will be partially responsible. And I would note, of course, under Trump's first term, there were chickens culled as well as a result of the outbreak of epidemic disease. So it's not like he's completely, but this is not entirely Trump's doing. But the people who pretended that he was responsible for the last administration's massive failures with regards to the production of this particular commodity, and many others, by the way, will not give him any credit for the price of eggs coming down by 11%. It will never, ever, ever happen. That is a 100% guarantee. That's all. So.